the people that are your age, other kids that are in fifth grade going into sixth grade, what are some of the things that they are worried about?
So Sophia's worried about failing in sixth, so she definitely does not want to do that. I am worried that I'm going to lose more friends in sixth because I feel scared, because my friend Joseph, he would always be there for me if I ever got bullied, but now that he's moving to somewhere else, which he's already it's like 30 minutes away from our area, so he wouldn't be able to come back.
Yeah.
And I would probably struggle during sixth.
We're back for your satisfaction from Action Business Furniture Studios is where it's happening. We have a special guest star appearance today from Brooklyn and Genevieve. Yes. I know, isn't this great? This is going to be a fun time. Now, taking it away, your host, Jonathan Byron.
All right. Thank you, Mike. Guys, thanks for being here. Brooklyn, Genevieve, James, thanks for clapping. Good job.
Even your fun.
I'm super excited. This is going to be great. This is the first time we're doing this, but every month we're going to do Youth Friday, where we focus on young entrepreneurs, young future business leaders. And our first young guest is Brooklyn. So Brooklyn, welcome to the show.
Hi. It's very welcome to be here. I do not know what to say.
You're doing great. You're awesome.
Thank you.
So we're going to do what we normally do. We're going to go around the room and have everybody introduce themselves, and then we're going to jump into the topic for today, and it's going to be awesome. So Rob, take it away.
All right. Hello, everyone. And this is Rob Reuter with IDIC Designs. And anytime you need to look at your business from technology perspective and get your business aligned with your technology, I'd be happy to help. Give us a shout out. Yep.
Hi, my name is Brooklyn. I do softball a lot, so it's probably one of my favorite sports. Well, it is my favorite sport. My most favorite, actually. Same with the drawing.
Excellent. Welcome.
Next person.
Genevieve here. I'm with Northern Lights Mitigation and Consulting. We focus on water damage, fire restoration, mold remediation, indoor air quality testing. We service Spokane County in Northern Idaho, and I got into the industry 10 years ago because I wanted to help take care of the community and just, do the right thing.
Awesome. My name is James Kettner. I have J2K Sales Pros, which basically, if you need help with your sales and you have low closing ratios, this will enhance it to be able to really, well, if you don't have low closing ratios, it will help you not have those. And basically just be able to generate money at a higher end.
I'm Brooke Masters. My business is Collaborative Consulting. It is a promotional strategy studio. So I help you do the market research, understand your target client. I handle graphic design for promotional products and marketing materials. So you can focus on serving your clients and actually running your business.
And who's your young guest?
And this is Teddy. He is the CEO, and I'm just the intern.
Love it. Welcome, Teddy and Brooke.
Hello, I'm Zane with Zebra Go. So we specialize in helping small businesses with our in-house platform that we develop for scheduling and just running your business. And we also have staff that help with your administrative side to really take care of all your phone calls, all the boring stuff that you don't want to do. You got into business to do your craft, not sit behind a desk. So let us be the people behind your desk, and yeah, we can help you out.
Awesome. Love it. Mike?
All right. I'm going to do the Data Mining Minute today. There is. Your ballots are out in the mail. All right, just know that. So today we're going to be exploring Spokane voter propensity. Spokane voter propensity. In this graph right here, we can see that it's generally older people that vote. So if we move down to the next one, we can tell that the majority of people that vote are women. Women always outvote men every time. every election. That's why most election material is pandered towards women that are baby boomers. Next, we also have a higher disproportion of younger people that don't vote. And here we have a mix of the ballots that are out versus the ballots that are in and the age gaps. And we can see that it's generally, there is a difference right here. So if you're a woman that's born in the 1970s, you have a lower propensity of voting than a male that's born in the 1980s. It's really interesting. So there is that gap to target, and there is that gap explained right there. So be sure to check your ballots today, check the mail, get your ballots in, and vote. Till next time.
All right, thank you, Mike. And I'm Jonathan Byron. I am a realtor here in Spokane and also host of Friday Conversations, the podcast we're on right now. So we'd love to have you down here on a Friday. Come on down. It is Youth Friday, and we're going to do Youth Friday every third Friday. So that lines up with the 20-something next month, but we'll have more information about that as we go. But I'm super excited about this. We're also on Zoom right now, and I did put in the comments how you can join that Zoom call, and I'll keep an eye out. If I see somebody jump in, we'll add you to the call and see how that goes. It's highly experimental. If it doesn't work, apologies in advance, but everybody that's here, welcome. I'm super excited. Appreciate you guys being here. And Genevieve and Brooklyn.
Yes, thank you.
We're talking about young people and the next generation. Tell us what we need to know.
I think it's important to know that we're setting them up for success. It really starts at home, and it really starts at a young age, and kind of structure and stability. It's something I preach to all of my children. I have 4 children. And one of the biggest things is technology, since, we were growing up, has advanced so much. And I really think it's important to teach our children that it's not a necessity. It's a tool, but it's not something that your life needs to be dependent on. And I'm a firm believer in that, and that's kind of what I use at home to kind of help my children, be successful in knowing that there's just a wide variety of things that you could do. And you don't always need, a phone in your face, a tablet in your face to be able to do that. And she's shaking her head because she knows, we have a lot of rules, and in my house, my kids, sometimes it might drive them nuts a little bit, but I would say they're very unique children, and I can see the way that I've been raising my kids and how they are now, especially as I've gotten older and, becoming who they want to become, because I'm just really guiding them and helping them be successful, and knowing, well, yes, I'm your mother, but, realistically, I'm not going to be here forever, and I need to raise you to not need me. And it's a hard topic to have, but it's important because her success is my success.
Yeah, awesome. Brooklyn, how old are you?
I am 10 years old.
Okay, how long have you been 10?
How long have I been 10? I'd say for like a couple, like a lots of months. My birthday is August 10th.
Okay.
I was born in 2014.
Okay, so you are almost 11.
Yes, almost
man.
11.
Okay, so what is 11 going to be like? What are you looking forward to?
To try my best in school, because I know I'm going into 6th grade, and it's going to be rough, because normally in 5th grade, it's like, oh, if you at least like do it, and if you like don't finish work, but as long as you do it, you get to go to this fun Friday. But in 6th, it's not like that. You have to finish this, and then you go to Fun Friday.
Okay.
So it's going to be hard for me, because I'd be like, oh my God, what do I do? And then there would always be a friend to calm me down.
Yeah.
And I had one of those friends.
And are they going to be at the same school as you?
No.
Oh, no. What school are you going into?
Trent. I'm still in Trent.
Oh, okay. Trent has 6th grade.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then my friend that I was talking about, his name is Joseph, and he would always be there to calm me down,
Yeah.
He would be like one of those kids who get bullied, same with me. So he would always be there, and people would say, are you guys dating? Are you guys dating? And everyone over here like, no, we're just friends. This is like one of the parts where you either have a girl best friend or a boy best friend.
Sure.
They would always say that.
Yeah.
Because they'd be like, best friends to lovers. Me, no, that's not in my case.
So how many of your friends have phones and
How
devices?
many? Okay, so Joseph is definitely not one of them.
Okay,
So I have a friend named Sophia. She has one. And then I have more friends, but most of them don't. But and obviously Joseph is one of them.
yeah,
So it's my bad. Sorry.
you're good.
So then they would be like, yeah. So then I would get some of them's like phone numbers, and one of my friends, his name is Marshall. He doesn't even have a phone, but he has an Apple, like a watch
Sure.
that can like text, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Call, and he would like text. He would be like, he would text me because you can actually text, but we barely text. So
So what are some of the things that the people that are your age, other kids that are in 5th grade going into 6th grade, what are some of the things that they are worried about?
So Sophia's worried about failing in 6th, so she definitely does not want to do that. I am worried that I'm gonna lose more friends in 6th because I feel scared, because my friend Joseph, he would always be there for me if I ever got bullied, but now that he's moving to somewhere else, which he's already it's like 30 minutes away from our area, so he wouldn't be able to come back.
Yeah.
And I would probably struggle during 6th.
Okay. So what we want to do is open this up to make it a conversation with the whole group. So as we've been talking about some of the struggles of a 10-year-old, I'm curious how that translates for those of us in the room. Like I'm thinking through, for me, like there's an aspect, you might not believe this, but as an adult, I have friends that go away. And friends that I thought were really close friends, and then they're all of a sudden they just don't hang out with me as much anymore. And so I'm curious what, like, as adults, like, how do these things translate for us where it's like, oh yeah, actually, this is not so different.
It makes me think about when I was 10 and I was going into 6th grade, because I was a very good student and I worried about my grades and I was worried about going into 6th grade, and because that was me going into middle school. Are you going into a new school or just a new grade? Okay.
Just new grade.
I was going into middle school, but I remember telling my dad and saying like, I think 6th grade is gonna be really hard. Was just stressed about it. And he said, every grade and pretty much, every thing you do after school as well is going to be a little bit harder, but you're going to be a little bit stronger and a little bit smarter, and you're going to be able to handle it the same way you've handled every grade before. And that's pretty much struck with me like throughout school, and then even now as an adult, like when I'm nervous to start something, I just think like, well, it's going to be a challenge, but like I'm not the same person I was last year. I'm even stronger and smarter, and so I know I can handle it.
That's awesome. Great insight. And I remember when we first met, you were just getting started with Cloudberry, weighing the option of, do I stay with the job that I'm in? Do I move? And just the confidence that you have now and the stuff that you've gained in those years it's you probably don't notice it as much as I do, and anybody else that has been interacting with you from the beginning, but you have grown through a lot and it shows, and that's really neat to see.
I think I'll jump in here. Kelsey Heinz is online with us, and she commented, I think Brooklyn, this is kind of give you a little bit of boost, but Kelsey said, I moved a lot when I was young, so friends was not an easy thing. I would say that as an adult, that shaped me to have few very close friends and lots of acquaintances. And that was actually something similar that I was going to bring up, because one of the things that I discovered is sometimes friends, the relationship changes, but you can still connect with them. I just recently reconnected. I had a significant person in my life from my early career in business pass away. And there was a friend on my phone that I had not reached out to in 3 or 4 or 5 years. But I knew it would be significant to him that this person had passed, so I reached out. And he, I hadn't heard from him. I'd been texting him and no reply, no reply. This time he replied, and now we're working on getting reconnected. And so those opportunities are still there to stay in touch. So when your friend is available again, when he has a phone, you just find ways to stay connected so that those relationships can continue on, even if they're not there to pick you up at that moment of panic. You at least know that they still remember the times you had. So I think those are significant things to keep in mind, because well, actually you too, there was a moment earlier this year where I normally don't hear from my business friends, and yet it was significant that time you picked up the phone and just said, I really should call, instead of just expecting to see somebody at the next Friday conversation and things like that. So those are the things we need to remember, is connecting and staying connected is up to us every day.
Yeah, it's good.
I would say, I played sports like you all the time. I was a wrestler and we won a lot of state championships. And wrestling, the way we did it was regular wrestling practice. And after that, we had House of Pain. And it was hard. And you learned to push yourself past what you felt like you could do. And I find myself even now when I feel like I can't do this. I don't have the strength inside of me to push it. I remember, yeah, you can. You just have to go to that level. You have to keep on pushing, and then you'll get to that spot. And that's why I think sports it's going to teach you how to interact with different teammates and be able to push yourself when you want to start a business, maybe like your mom, and do stuff like that.
Okay, so can I add something?
Absolutely.
So like he was saying, this is different. It's not like a sport, but like when I was in 5th grade, which my
Long time.
teacher, definitely. So normally I would like think negative thoughts and stuff, and my teacher would go up to me, don't believe that, you can do this, and saying positive things. But this is what my mom said. She said, okay, so what he's saying is you shouldn't think negative thoughts and you should think positive, because that's the thing that gets you moving on, instead of thinking like, oh, I can't do this is way too hard. Oh, I can't do it because I'm not smart enough. I'm kind of dumb. But what they're saying, my mom and my teacher, what they're saying is that never give up and stuff, always carry on and add more things and make sure to be positive, like, oh, I can do this, yeah, and stuff. Like, kind of like softball too, like when I was in like Thundercats, or like the last one, I was like, I can't do this, I can't. So I would like struggle a lot, but when I got to it again, I carried on, and they started to call me kind of a leader.
Awesome.
You seem like a leader.
For
She
sure.
definitely
Yeah.
is. I would say she's like that off the field and on the field, and she's very confident. I tell her, you hold you back by the way you talk to yourself, and I try my best to always say positive things, and I tell all of my children to always think positively. Not every day is going to be a good day, but like she's saying, she is her own worst critic. I mean, even for almost being 11, she can get so inside of her own head and convince herself that, I can't do this, I'm not good enough. And it's hard at this age finding out who you are and being in school, and you've got mean kids who are saying these things. And I tell her, like, it only matters if you let it matter. It's only going to affect you if you let it affect you, and you aren't what those kids are saying about you because they don't know you. How can they really form an opinion about you when they don't really know you? You know who you are, and the people around you know who you are, and just take that and run with it. Think positively about yourself, and the more that you think that, the more it'll show, and you'll see that. And she definitely does do that. I have to remind her, like, you're doing great, especially when she is playing softball, because when it comes to sports, she's very self-critical of herself. Like, oh, I could have did this, I could have got that kid out. And she carries that with her everywhere she goes. And I tell her, you're amazing. I couldn't do that at her age. I knew nothing about the sport until her. She's taught me so much, and I'm 34 years old, but that's something that I tell all my kids is, just always think positive,
It's great.
Yeah, I like that. My kids are around the same age, so kind of going through a lot of the same experiences you're going through. And one thing I like that in my kids' school that they're learning a lot of is that growth mindset. So are you in that fixed mindset where, you're limiting yourself? I don't feel like I can do this right. I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. Or no, I can figure it out. And maybe I don't know that yet, but how do I get there? How do I learn? And I think that really applies for really anything we do as adults and in business. And,
Right.
I don't think anybody's really started a business saying, I 100% know how to do this.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm going to figure this out as I go. I was also going to say, I like bringing it back to the Friday fun days. I feel like this is our Friday fun day.
Yeah.
I got to get all my work done.
Gotta get my work done so I can come to Friday Fun Day. Yeah, I love it.
Gonna rebrand.
But rebrand it, not Friday Conversations, Friday Fun Day.
Yeah.
Yeah. We gotta consult with Brooklyn on like how to make this more fun.
That is true.
So something that Val is not here today, he couldn't join us, but he comes like pretty frequently. He's big, tall guy, big booming voice, and he's just an amazing guy. We really like having Val. But something that he shared last week is that he got bit by a venomous snake, rattlesnake, I think it was, and it could have killed him. Like it was that serious. And he realized in that moment that what people think about him isn't real. Snake bite, that's real. And he said, why would I care? Why would I worry what other people think about me when all that is it's what's in their head? It's not real. Snake bite, that's real. And that's been really helpful for me. It's like, okay, you guys might think crazy things about me. You might think I'm a really crazy guy. And that's okay. I am a little bit of a crazy guy.
People might not believe me at like school and something. I'd be like over to my friends. One time on the softball, my mom was there. She can even say that I did it. So one time I did a double play.
Nice.
And it was the last game.
Nice.
And so the person hit it in the air, and I was pitcher. I was playing as the pitcher, and it was coach pitch. So then I saw it coming, and I was like, oh my God, this is my moment that I can actually get this. So then I popped up my glove, it goes in, and I'm over here like, yes! But then I see the person running back, so I'm over here like, Ellen! That's like one of my softball friends, so I throw the ball at her glove, and she catches it, and then we had one out, so I made the 2 outs.
That is awesome.
And I
And the
was like,
beginning. That is awesome. I love your energy. You have great energy.
I have lots of energy. And whenever it comes to like softball practice and softball games, my dad told me this, and he was like, so what you gotta do is put your hip, like swing, not just swing your arms and your back. You gotta swing your hip, and that's what gets it all the way out there. So by learning that, I did what he said, and it would go boom straight up there. One time I made it the third on it, and it was literally legit. So I feel like next time in the fall, I could probably get a home run.
Nice.
That's your goal, right?
That's my goal, a home run.
That's great. So that's actually a great topic, talking about goals. So you have a goal of getting a home run this year. What other goals are you working on this year?
Oh, well, I'm hoping for a scholarship, like to college. Hopefully that they get me in there to play for softball.
Okay,
You know,
yeah.
and
That's
by learning more, you get more better. My dad and I, one time, this was kind of hilarious. My mom was there. So in the bedroom, my dad would literally throw the toilet paper at me, and I'd have to dive. And one time it hit her, so you're like, oh no! I see it coming towards her, so I go and jump on top of the bed, catch it. I'm like, nope, I'm not letting you get my mom.
nice.
And ever since I've been getting good at softball, we have this like black ball. It's more heavier, more bigger, you know, and me and my dad would practice with it. And as I practiced with my friends with it, once the game almost started, we grabbed a softball. It felt more lighter.
Sure, yeah.
Because that black ball teaches you a lot. So when you play with it like a lot, the ball feels softer and more lighter.
Yeah.
So my dad was like, yo, if you pitch, maybe instead of doing this, maybe you can learn how to do this, which I still need to practice on because I keep going. Keep like whenever I'm sitting down, it's like hard to do that.
Yeah, that's fair.
They know what you're saying.
This is great because practice is one of the other things. Rob, what were you gonna say?
Yeah, I was gonna say Brooklyn, Kelsey online mentioned, she says, I'm in adult softball right now. Love these tips.
I like that. That's actually cool.
Yeah, I wish Kelsey could have been here. 'Cause
Yeah.
Yes.
She
Then me and her would have a big conversation about it.
good point.
Thank
Maybe it's good
you.
that she's not here. We were just talking about softball the whole time.
But it's a good comment.
For sure. What else are we picking up on with, I mean, there's just so many themes. I'm like, this is great. This is so cool.
Yeah.
But what
Yeah,
else?
like the weighted softball, like that, increasing your resistance. I mean, kind of a common weight training
Yeah,
aspect, but again, something when we encounter that struggle, that resistance in our life, we just keep going for it. And then when that resistance goes away a little bit, things seem
seems a lot
easier.
easier, for sure. Yeah.
I think for me as a kid, I was always chasing girls when I was a little kid, and I would just write the same math answer, and I just didn't care about school. And people thought I was dumb because I had ADD and ADHD, and it was harder for me to figure out how to learn. And I thought I was dumb. And my mom just took a lot of time with me, and she showed me how I could learn. And not only from there, she told me I could do anything if you work hard at it, you know. And I'm a Christian, so I believe that God will bless it. That, you know, as you get older and you run into different obstacles, now even I think of my mom talking to me and being like, you can do this. And in my head, I'm like, man, I don't know how I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna figure it out. Like we've been kind of talking about is with sports, you're in a moment. Say you have 3 at-bats that are terrible, right? And you're starting to be in your head and you're starting to swing faster, you're swinging slower, and you're not doing that. But it's in life, go back to your basics, you know, the things that your mom teaches you. You can go back and be like, okay, I just need to slow down. And in business and in life, as you get older and as you have different friends, just like you've been getting better in sports and things are changing, you're going to have a new buddy that's going to be different at your school, and it's going to become a good buddy. And you got to look at that and be like, okay, what's next? What's new? I'm into something else in my life, and I get to enjoy a new best friend. And maybe that friendship's going to be a little bit different, but it's going to be great, you know? So you can look forward to that is who's going to be your next best buddy, you know?
So like how I was talking about Justin and stuff, that was a really, really great buddy. We would always like out the recess, we would always hang out with each other, and he would like, I would think of this idea, and I was like, here, run over there, and then we do tackle hugs, which is actually pretty fun. and then somebody would see it and they're like, ooh, they're making out. We are literally just best friends. We are just hanging out. We're being kids and we're having fun, you know, and then teachers would always be like, no kissing, and be like, we're not even kissing, we're hugging. And then they're like, no touching each other, no doing that. Like my friend Joseph, he'd be like, what's the matter? Do teachers hate hugs or something? Like I'd be seeing students hug each other in front of teachers, and the teachers wouldn't do about it. But whenever I would hug my best friends, the teachers would be like, hey, no doing that, and be like, do the teachers hate me or something?
No, she's a very, she likes to hug.
Oh.
She hugs teachers, she hugs all of her friends, and, you know.
Especially Joseph.
So who's Avery?
Ooh, Avery is my older sister, who I look up to.
Well, she just said, go Brooklyn, with an exclamation point. So she's
Thank you,
watching.
Avery.
Yeah. You are doing great. This is awesome.
I look up to Avery because she's really nice. She has a kind-hearted, but sometimes she'd be like, get out! And I'd be like, and I get that from her to Emmett. So whenever Emmett would come in, Emmett's my little brother. Whenever Emmett would come in my room, I'd be like, get out!
Yeah.
So I'd carry on that. And then whenever she would show me, I would get interested into it.
Yeah.
And I'd be asking her questions about it, and she'd be like,
She does,
like-
but she always helps you, right?
she always does. I love my sisters so much, especially Allison. We made up a funny joke.
That's your other sister, right?
Yeah, my other older sister. We made up a funny joke with her name. So
Oh, you don't need to say it.
it's really funny though.
So how old are your siblings?
Avery is 15, about to be 16 in August 8th.
Okay,
And Allison, she is 13.
okay.
Her birthday was March 24th.
Allison, March 24th, yeah.
Okay.
And then you have a younger brother?
Then I have a younger brother who's 5 who drives me crazy.
That sounds about right. Sounds about right.
And the thing is, before when I became 10, I was like, okay, so when Emmett, and I was like, wait, when Emmett becomes 5, it would make something cool. 5, 10, 15.
Ah,
There's a pretty significant gap between the youngest and the oldest,
yeah, yeah.
which makes for a crazy dynamic. You know, she's the youngest girl,
Mm-hmm.
so, but she looks a lot up to her older sister.
Avery.
You know, yeah, Avery is there for her a lot. I think it's important when you have siblings, you know, they have such a special dynamic. And that's another thing that I teach them is, you know, you're experiencing childhood together and there's nobody else more important in your life than your sibling. You know, that, you know, you have friends come and go, but your siblings are for life. You know, they're always there for each other. They share stories and secrets and so many different things. And, you know, that's something that my stepmom always taught me because I had a younger sister that, you know, there's just nobody more important in your life because they'll go through everything with you and they'll understand exactly how you're feeling opposed to maybe like people on the outside. And she definitely looks up to her older sister. I would say it's probably who inspires her the most, honestly. She's a lot like her.
True.
Looks like Allison said hi as well.
Yes.
Hi, Allison.
Sisters are here watching you.
Yeah.
Watching.
So Brooklyn, I have a little bit of advice for you, because you were talking about the teachers
The teachers.
talking to you about your choice of hugging people and things. And that kind of hits me a little bit, because I went to a boarding school where I was not at home. I was living with my classmates. We actually had dorm rooms and things like that. And we went to a school that had very strict policy about touching and hand holding and other things. And I always found it interesting that while the teachers were busy checking all the bushes, looking for all the other students who were breaking the rules, that I would stand out under a street light with my girlfriend at the time and, do the things that they were beating the bushes looking for, and they never said a thing to me. And here's the tip, okay? Because I was just as interested in the teachers and what they had or what was special about them as I was in my girlfriend or my peers. So I spent a lot of time developing relationships with the teacher, getting to know them, and they got to know me. So they would realize I don't have to worry about Rob. I was actually known as Robbie at the time. And so I would end up having a lot more freedom to do the things I wanted to do because they weren't worried about what was I going to do. They were worried about the other students that were kind of closed books, and they didn't know how far they would go. So a little tip, look around for friends that are your teachers as well, and learn to ask questions and get to know them so that they will look at you as somebody they trust.
Right?
That's good.
Building trust is huge.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's important.
it's really huge. So the thing is, a new thing is that it's not new. It's been going around for like the whole fifth grade, and so normally people would call me names that I did not like one of my bullies. It's a he, obviously.
Obviously.
Boys obviously always pick on girls sometimes.
Obviously.
So then he would call me a dwarf because I'd be so short, the shortest in my class. But then I found a friend kind of just like me in the other fifth grade class. Her name was Hayden. But then it turns out that she was a fake friend, but she was really shorter than me. So then people would be friends with her, but still call me names like short, clown shoes, and furry. And some people, I don't like being called that, and my friends would always be there to cheer me up and stuff. So I would be like excited sometimes, and my friend Ava, she's Ethereum just like me. And so we would always like at recess sometimes I'd hang out with her and we would do like quads, like kind of like an animal, like when they walk around and stuff, we would jump around and do high jumps where we there would be this like digged up hole in the grass. And then we would always like jump over. Well, I wouldn't say it's like very deep, but like it's halfway deep with a puddle inside. So when Ava went to the high jump, she did it. She's like, "Come on, Brooklyn, you can do this." So then I did it, and then we were celebrating, and then obviously the bully. Okay, so I can introduce his name. My sister Allison doesn't like his older brother or him. His name is Santiago. I do not like him. He's kind of annoying, and with his goofy haircut that I do not like.
I think that's your biggest problem at school, though, right? Is the transition
It's
now of getting picked on.
But what's the question is what do you do when they do that? Like, what is your reaction to it?
What do? I get either angry or sad, and
I have a simple fix for that. What you do is if they do that, ignore them. Like, or laugh with them. Like, if you start making it a joke, it's not funny to them anymore. They're getting attention because they're making your feelings hurt and frustrated and all that. So if you look at it and be silly with them, they go, yeah, that's funny. Or just ignore them. It's only so long until they go on to the next kid and move on from there.
I've been trying that, but they will not leave me alone.
I think the issue is with you and her. She's really kind-hearted.
Yeah.
And she wants everybody to be her friend.
Sure.
And so she seeks out friendship in everybody, and I tell her not everybody is like you. Some people are not gonna like you just for the way you carry yourself and the fact that you have that ability to make friends with everybody, and you are kind to the kids that they're not kind to.
Mhm.
So then they think they can pick on you for how you're playing or how you're acting or just being a kid. You know, we're in 5th grade transitioning to 6th grade. I say, you know, having multiple children, that's when school starts to get difficult for them. And you know, one of the things with her is I tell her the same thing, you know, it only affects you if you let it. You know, like when you come home, leave that stuff at the door. You know, you could talk about it, but don't let it affect you so much that it's now altering your personality or who you are. And, you know, it doesn't let her, but I tell her, you know, it can affect you if you don't let it, right?
So, I also have a 6th grade boy that my mom literally got angry about. She knows the 6th grade bully. His name is Harrison.
Yeah, we did. We just had to go and talk to his parents,
Grandma.
grandparents, and you know, I just tell her too, like, we don't know what other kids are going through at home either. Some kids are struggling, right?
Like when I
We have
was,
to take that into consideration. We don't have to go into the whole story.
Or maybe sometimes boys like you, and that's the way they.
Yeah, it's true too. One of the things that I've recently learned that is very helpful if you can pull it off, and sometimes it's hard to pull it off,
Mhm.
but the words are you okay? So if you say something mean to me, right, and my immediate reaction is like, and I get upset or whatever, but if my reaction is, are you okay? Right, like I'm genuinely concerned about you, because why would you say that thing to me unless something wasn't okay with you right now? And it probably doesn't translate to kids as well as adults, but
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, when you look someone in the eye and you ask them with genuine concern, are you okay? Their response to that, it's very hard for them to keep being irritating at that
Yeah.
point. You can try with your siblings too, although 2 of them are watching, so.
Now the secret's out. I was also gonna bring up a friend of mine, when I understand being sensitive and want, you know, and feeling like I wanna be liked, I wanna, you know, I want people. And when I do get upset, I have a friend that her advice to me is always, this too shall pass. And I just, sometimes I hear that when I start getting upset, I hear her in my head going, this too shall pass.
It's actually a bubble burst.
Well, every day's a new day, right?
every day is a
Every
new
day's a
day.
new day, right, Brooklyn?
It doesn't
Yeah.
kill me, makes me
And
stronger.
we can only be better today than we were
Tomorrow.
yesterday.
Tomorrow.
I messed up some of my words.
And that's
So
okay.
it's- I have lots of questions to ask people, like, what's that? What's this? Like whenever someone wanna go, oh, like, you inspire something, blah blah blah. And I'd be over here like, what's inspired mean? And people
Very
would be like,
curious.
how do we explain this? And
That's
I'm over
great.
here, I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, I'm about to be in 6th and I do not know what that means.
That's okay. So that's something that I learned over time, because what I used to do is I would just pretend that I knew what someone was talking about. We're like, oh yeah, and they might say inspired, and I had no idea what inspired was. And then I would leave and I didn't know the whole
What that
conversation.
means.
So it's good to be curious, and it's good to be honest and just say, I don't understand what you're talking about. What does that mean? So
I think it's
Like,
adult
exact-
too, it's hard.
That's what exactly my mom was like. She in the car we were practicing and she was like, what inspires you? And I was like, what does inspire mean?
She was a little nervous,
Yeah.
which it's funny because usually she's not. Like I always tell people, she can go to a room full of people and just start talking to you all like you've known her whole life. You know, that's kind of how she is. But she does get curious, and you know, she's not afraid to ask questions, and she's definitely never afraid to be herself. And you know, I think it's important to always ask questions, right? Like, especially if you're not sure. How are we gonna know if we don't ask? You know, and I tell her too, and we all could probably agree, we all learn differently.
Yeah.
You know, we can all be in the classroom learning the same thing. And like you said, you struggled with ADD, I have ADD, and sometimes, you know, somebody's saying something and I'm just kind of like not retaining anything. And I'm thinking about, you know, what I did yesterday. What am I gonna make for dinner? Like, And then I come back to it and I'm like, oh, I didn't retain anything this person just said at all. But you may be like right away retaining it. And, so I think at this age, especially trying to set them up for success, it's important to teach them, like, we all learn at a different pace.
Yeah.
You may learn a little bit slower, and this kid may only need to hear it one time and remember it for the rest of his life. I'll use me and my husband as an example. Like, he's a quick learner, you could show him how to do something once and he could do it. As to where me, I'm like, I can't read it. You have to physically show me, and you have to physically show me at least 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
And then you have to stand here while I do it, because then I'm retaining it. He could just read the instructions and I'm nothing like that. And I tell her, we're not all the same.
It's true.
You're going to learn different than your sisters. You're going to learn different than your classmates. And school feels rushed for kids, and so it's important to just, try your best, show up every day and just try your best. And if you're not sure, ask questions, right? That's what the teachers are there for.
That's what they're there for. So you learn, basically in school, you learn a lot, but sometimes people distract people, and I used to be one of those people who would be like talking and stuff, which would annoy people. And they're like, we're trying to learn. And I was like, oh, sorry. So then Joseph would definitely understand it, because he would be a good listener. He'd be hearing me like talk a lot, and then I would be like switching. The next day he would be talking and I would be listening. And then as on, he would help me with work, and I'd be like, what does this mean? And then he would help me with like what that means. So I'm over here like, so this friend is the one for me. I like this friend because he's really great. But then somebody else is like, that's exactly what I'm saying. Are you guys dating?
But it's okay for boys and girls to be friends, right? And that it's okay.
Definitely okay. My mom definitely has some boy best friends, and one of them came to our house.
Yeah.
And
I tell her that all the time. You can be friends with anybody you want to be,
and
just be kind to people, right, Brooklyn?
yeah.
That's the biggest thing.
And so the person that she brought over, his name is Joe.
Yeah.
He'd be like really interested in video games, kind of like me and my mom and my dad, Emmett, Avery,
Our whole house.
Allison, our whole house, except for our dogs and cats. They can't just randomly spawn thumbs, spawn fingers, and just randomly play a video game. They would like walk around the house. You gotta feed them, take them out, water them, and that would be exhausting, especially if you have puppies. And that's what we do have.
Yeah.
Because our dog Lucy, she gave birth to 6, but one of them,
One was a runt. Since we do have 5 puppies.
Yeah.
So she's learning a lot about helping take care of the puppies.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's also important.
One of the puppies actually likes me, so they would.
I hope
So whenever I walk around, they'd follow me, and we named it Maggie. So whenever I would like pick her up and stuff, she would always have like this like shiny hair, and I would recognize her because she has that shiny look and not the other ones. So the thing is, my dog Duke, how old is he again?
He'll be
1
2.
month?
No, what?
One?
No, he's almost 2.
Almost 2, and Lucy is 10.
Yeah, she's an older lady.
She's old. And the thing is, the puppies look like Duke.
Yeah,
And
they all look like him.
yeah, they're definitely not.
But what are you
Lucy.
learning by helping take care of them?
By my parents saying, you're one of them, obviously.
Yeah.
Them saying,
Be gentle.
be gentle with them.
Because
Don't pick
they're-
them all up all the time. Definitely do not throw them.
But
Good.
that's another thing
Don't-
I think that's helpful, right, Brooklyn? Is having something to, even like when she had a little brother, is kind of just teaching like normal things that, she's gonna need to use like later in life. And she loves animals and,
Yeah.
being kind and gentle and caring to other creatures that don't have a voice. you know, or it goes back to the structure and stability, you know. My kids have a very structured lifestyle, especially when school's, and I'm a little bit more lax during the summer. But when they're in school, you know, Monday through Friday, my kids do chores, you know, if they have any homework, they need to do their homework. There's things, you know, that they've got to do before it's playtime, right? So like I that's what I tell her, you know, these things are important because again, one day you're going to be an adult and you need to be a self-sufficient adult, not a codependent adult.
Sure.
And I think that's another tool that we can use to give our kids to be successful because it's harder to be successful when you're extremely codependent on somebody, you know, and you have to be able to live your own life. That's what I tell all of them. I think that's important. It's hard to teach your kids to not need you.
Right.
People are always like, how do you do that? How do you do that? And I'm like, I don't have a choice. You know, they're their own beings. They need to find their own way and be who they're going to be and not apologize for being who they're going to be. And I think it's important to, especially at this age, to say it's okay to be who you want to be, not who the person next to you wants you to be. You know, you're not living their life and they're not living yours, you know, and if you're loud and you like to talk a lot and you ramble and yes, you, that's
Yes,
okay
I know.
because that's a part of her personality. And I've never once as her parent made her feel bad or, you know, have to feel embarrassed for being that way. You know, my older daughter, she's a little bit more reserved and she's kind of like, oh, I don't want to take pictures and I want to be out of the scene. And again, that's okay. That if that's how you want to be, you know, that's your life and you have to grow into your own person. And I, as a mom, have to step back and I can't fight all your battles for you. And I can't, you know, go down to the school and tell all these bullies all these things. And, you know, it's an important thing to teach our kids. And it can be hard, but, you know, we want them to be their own person. That's how they're going to start being successful.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You know, what's funny is, I'm gonna be 41, August 15th, right by you.
Ooh.
And,
Just 5 days.
yeah, and I had my first child, my daughter, last summer when I was turning 40. And I always wanted kids, but I was fearful, like, how do you take care of a baby, like all that stuff. But by having dogs and puppies and taking care of them,
Yeah.
two things. One, I learned how to allow my anger to be like calmed. Like sometimes a puppy can bite you or do something and you want to react. And then you learn like, it's just a puppy. Let it just be a puppy. But also I think it taught me is I have a Belgian Malinois, which is a military grade dog. That is a different breed of dog. And then I've had other dogs like a Chihuahua and other things. Certain dogs you can be, hey, don't do that, stop. And then they stop and they learn that way. The Malinois, you can't yell at it. You have to be positive with it and say, oh, it's okay, stop, don't do that, do this. And they react better. If you were to yell at that puppy, that type of dog, in a very harsh way, which you could with a German Shepherd, it would not react to you at all and it would ignore you. So it's interesting how puppies really can teach you a lot about life and dogs in general of how to treat other people. And someday you'll have your own kid and you'll have to take care of that kid and you'll remember, oh, it bit me, but I got it. Dogs won't bite you. Sometimes they can, breastfeeding, but yeah, is just to be gentle and to kind of like, if you're feeling anxious or upset and then agitated and you're quick to be short with them, you can remember, oh, it's a puppy, be gentle. And those are like people too, just be gentle with them and be positive because sometimes you realize with you when people aren't, it doesn't make you react well, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna speak to something Genevieve was saying, because it reminded me of something my mother said. So she's during most of my sister and my childhood, she was a single mother. And one of the things that she would later explain to people is that she always took the role of being mother as not that she needed to mold my sister and I to what she believed, but she was given a gift to let us become the people we were meant to be. And so she had to do that, what you were describing, that like, you know, you have to make these decisions but I'm here when you need me and what you want. And she would always point to, those times when my sister and I would be going through a hard time or making choices she would not want to make, but when we needed her, we would be in a room at the end of her bed, consulting her, saying, okay,
Yeah.
this is going on right now. What do you think?
Yeah.
And one of the funny things was, I was 35 before I actually faced something that I realized, this is a significant decision, but I actually can make the decision without checking in with mom. What do you think with this, with that? But I also have to do a shout out here because Allison spoke up to something, and she said, I agree with Brooklyn. I'm going into 8th grade, and sometimes I don't remember or don't know what a word means, and people giving me weird looks. But a lot of people tell me it's okay. We all work at our own pace, and it helps me a lot.
Also,
So-
Paz said, Genevieve rocks.
Thank you.
So we're kind of coming to the end here, and Brooklyn, when you were talking about your teachers not believing that you did a double play, what I thought you were gonna say is that no one's gonna believe that you were on a podcast. But honestly, it's kind of cool that you got to be on a podcast. So there's actually a lot of people watching live right now, and even more people are gonna see this on YouTube. And a lot of those are parents. And they have kids that are 10 and 15. My kids are 14, 12, and 8. So we've got like just a few more minutes before we wrap up. What would be one thing that you would want to tell to parents that we need to know and that would make us better parents?
Okay, so one thing that parents kind of need to know is tell your children not to lie, because sometimes they lie a lot. And my mom, she hates lying. She really wants us to tell the truth.
Yeah.
So we're over here like, what if we get in trouble for telling the truth? Or what if I just say, oh, it's nothing? But you have to tell the truth. They would be like more calmer after it. But if you lie, they get more angrier about it. So make sure to teach your kid never to lie. And I really like my sisters, and my sister Allison, sometimes she'd come home, she'd be sad and stuff, and I'd be like, what's wrong? And Avery and me would be like, what's wrong and stuff, and and Allison would be like, oh, it's just some girls telling me that my haircut sucks, because when she got it, I would say it's a jellyfish haircut, which honestly, as it went on, the hair started to get more prettier and stuff. It gets more smoother. And Allison, when I got my haircut,
Speaking of hair.
when I got my first haircut, she would not stop touching it. And they would be like, leave her hair alone. And Allison,
So it's okay to have your hair
I
however you
can't.
want, right?
and she keep touching it and touching it, and I'm over here like,
Genevieve, you got anything to wrap us up with?
I just want to shout out to my other daughters on here. They're in California visiting, but they'll be home in a couple weeks, and I love them and I'm proud of them. And my children are growing up to be everything that I want them to be and everything that I could hope that they would be. And I just hope that one day, especially for us parents, we can look back and we all make mistakes, but know that we did our best and that we raised decent humans that could go out into the world and make us proud.
Very cool. Well, thank you both for coming on the show. It was awesome to have
you're
you.
welcome.
Next month, we will have Youth Day again, and it'll be a different host, guest, presenter, but you guys are welcome to come, and maybe Allison and Avery can join us and really kind of pack the room out with the young folks. and
Yeah.
have this
Good luck.
conversation.
All of us together, the kids.
And
the
hopefully,
sisters.
so my kids couldn't come today as
Yeah.
well, so hopefully next week, some of them will be able to come, and we'll just make it a big
I would
family.
love to come again.
Okay, well, we will take.
It
you
was
up on-
amazing.
Awesome, thank you for being here. Mike, what do you got for us?
Probably of the more meaningful podcasts we've had lately. And with that being said, here are some words of advice that are going to help you out with life and parenting and bullies. I know you are, but what am I? Please comment that in the video description, in the comments below, and we will get back to you and we'll continue that banter. I know you are, but what am I? So be sure to like, subscribe, and smash that bell for more updates. We'll see you next week. Bye.